Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have the final the final top 5 video of the week. This time, we are looking at the lowest win rate tanks. So pretty much the worst performing tanks in the game right now. And as it happens, every single one of these tanks are in tier 8. Yes, so people who clearly doesn't perform too well when it comes to tier 8. A lot of these have pretty much been in the list before. And to be honest, it looks like they kind of stay in the list because, I have remembered that every single one of these has been here before. But we'll go through them. And the first tank we are going to look at is the Centurion Mark 1 with 45% win rate over the last update. It's very, very low. I thought this would do better, to be fair, since Wargaming changed the gun pretty much. They gave it Hesh. They gave the whole line pretty much Hesh. And since they gave it Hesh, it is a lot better. It really is a lot better. You're able to do a little bit more damage. But of course, with the tank doing more damage, it doesn't give it more wins. It just gives it more damage. But clearly, it's a tank that is struggling out there. People are struggling to winning it. I've never really enjoyed the tank, I'm not going to lie, but ever since it has that Hesh, now everyone that's been around knows that I absolutely love the Hesh rounds. I think it's absolutely amazing, but only really when you understand it, when you understand how to actually use the Hesh rounds. As you've seen this battle, sometimes it doesn't go for you, sometimes it does. When you can penetrate a tier 9 heavy from the front, and then we struggled to pen on the back, that is what's very, very nice. So we didn't get too much damage. I mean, 2.5k damage there, and most of that was with Hesh, and we do manage to get the mastery badge. So very, very easy. So that is 45% win rate. Number 5 coming in at number 4 is the same win rate as this tank, the 45%. But let's go check it out. And it's, again, another tank that's been in the list before. And I do understand why it is on the list, because people can struggle with the tank. It is a very difficult tank to play, but yet again, it is a tank with them beautiful Hesh rounds. It is, of course, the Charioteer. As I've said, the same as the Cent Mark 1, 45% win rate. So, the fourth and fifth worst win rate in the entire game. So just clearly people are struggling. People are struggling to play it, which makes me think that obviously they are playing it wrong. Clearly, it is a great tank. Even though it's a tank destroyer, don't play it like a tank destroyer. You never ever play this tank like a tank destroyer, because that is playing it wrong. You play it more like a medium tank, but of course not front line. You have no armor whatsoever. Anyone can pretty much HE you. You've just got to HE them first, and you've got to HE them better. You do have Hesh, and you need to use that to his advantage. Of course, sometimes, 166 damage there, of course. But high risk, high reward. And that's always been the same with Hesh. High risk, high reward. But I absolutely love the Charioteer. It is one of my sort of favourite tier 8 tanks. Absolutely love it. But again, that probably has something to do with the Hesh rounds. But yeah, it's been in the list before, and I'm sure it will continue to be in the list. So moving on to the next tank number 3. And we have the WZ-110. Now, I'm not surprised at this tank being in this list. This Chinese heavy tank absolutely does suck. It's got no armor whatsoever. The penetration, everything like that, is what it is. But 44.5% win rate over the last update in this tank. It does suffer. Again, the armor profile, it could be better for a heavy tank. And yeah, clearly people don't perform well in it, and yeah, I do understand why, because honestly, the tank sucks. I absolutely hate the WZ-110, and clearly so does everyone that plays it, because they keep freaking losing. So yeah, number 3 at 44.5% win rate, and as I've said, I'm really not shocked by that, because it does really really suck. So I'm surprised it's actually number 3, to be fair. There's actually worse tanks out there when it comes to performing. But yeah, number 3, WZ110. Moving on to number 2. So tank number 2 is a very difficult tank, to be fair. It is the SU-101. Now, personally, I really don't mind the SU-101. I think it's got a good gun. It's got a good DPM. It's got, you know, other than the gun depression and the armor on this thing, it's not too bad. But it's very difficult to get this tank in a position where the gun depression won't haunt you, because honestly, it really will haunt you, the gun depression. It's pretty much got nothing. Honestly, it's like 3 degrees or something like that, and it absolutely does suck. Now, if you get caught out, you're going to get absolutely torn apart because of that armor as well. Like, it's paper. The armor is absolutely like paper. Now, the win rate is 44.1% win rate. So the WZ110 is actually performing better than this tank, which does surprise me. Just mainly because of the gun. But if you can get this tank somewhere where you can farm, just like we are here now, then yeah, it's not a bad tank. It really isn't. But yeah, I get it's a difficult tank to play. People are not just going to sit at the back of the map. They're going to get in certain positions where they just can't get the shot off. And there's loads of maps, well, pretty much every map, apart from a couple, that has hills and dunes, and you're unable to get your gun down. If you put your tank in the wrong position, then this tank, honestly, really does suck. So I do understand why it is in this top 5 and actually the second worst performing in the game. But you put it in the right position and the tank overall isn't that bad. So moving on to the worst performing tank in the game at the moment. And again, it is a tank that's been here before, and it's pretty much always. It is the Indian Panzer. Now, this tank didn't used to be too bad. I thought it used to be alright. The only thing really I would change with this tank is probably the turret armor. I would actually give it a strong turret. Because I do think it needs something, clearly, because it's always in this list. Now, with the lowest win rate in the game at 43.5%. So, yeah, people are really not performing well in this tank. Now, the DPM-wise, I think the tank is pretty solid. If you get a free run with nobody looking at you, then, yeah, you can really pump out that damage. Honestly, the gun depression, everything like that, the speed, the tank overall is not that bad. What makes the tank bad really is probably the armor profile. It does have a big turret. You can maybe get the troll bounce on it, but you can't rely on the armor on this thing. But yeah, I can understand again people not performing well in it. There are better tier 8s especially when it comes to mediums out there, and I can understand how this just gets ripped apart quite regularly. So that is the top 5. Let me know in the comments below, are you surprised at any tank on this list? Again, all 5 tanks have been here before, and they're usually there or thereabouts when it comes to performance. So let me know if you're surprised at any tank in this list. Let me know if you think there should have been another tank, or you was expecting another tank to be in this list as well. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I will catch you all soon. Bye bye.